There we go, recording in progress. Another episode of the Square and Compass podcast with Most Worshipful Brad Phillips from a state I have not had the chance to visit yet, Masonically or otherwise, but would love to, the Grand Lodge of Arkansas. So welcome.
Thank you.
So, let's start with kind of how this all came to be. I always try to keep an eye out for Masonic events, unique events I've never heard of before. And I was at the Grand Lodge of Arkansas website. I'll leave a link in the description. And I came across the calendar and a Hillbilly Tuxedo Degree, which is not something, I'm not saying we don't have hillbillies in Canada, Ontario. We got quite a few, but they don't put on degrees here. So
Right.
Let's start with that. What is the Hillbilly Degree? Is that an Arkansas tradition? Is that more in different southern states? You know, in Kentucky, I went to a barn raising, third degree in a barn. Is the Hillbilly Degree a Arkansas Masonic tradition? And what is it?
Okay. Yes, it's actually the Hillbilly Tuxedo and Fellowship Society. It's a recognized body, just recently recognized here in Arkansas in 2019. It was developed in the early, around, I believe 2013 was when it was first envisioned. And one of our past Grand Master, Monroe Robinson, he recognized the issues that we're having, just as in all the other states with lower participation and lower membership and activities. This was kind of an issue where some of our lodges were running out of things to do. You know, they would show up, have a meal, maybe pay the bills, read the minutes, and go home, and that was pretty much all they had to do. So he developed the Hillbilly Tuxedo and Fellowship Society. And it's a side degree. It's an honorary thing. There's no membership fees to it. There's no dues or anything like that to it. It is another tool that our lodges can use to boost attendance and boost activity. Something else that they can do other than a family night or something like that. So that's the main focus to it, is to promote travel among the lodges. I believe there's some other hillbilly things with the shrines and other organizations have them, but this is particularly for us. And it can be done at either a stated meeting or a called meeting, either or, just something for them to actually do. Now, in order to do that, after the stated meeting, they would have the installing marshal, or the two installing marshals and the installing officer. And he would have the guys show up that night. And of course, there's a whole dress code to it. You know, they have to wear their bib overalls and their long sleeve shirts and either a necktie or a bow tie or something. And they'll have a big meal as far as whatever you would normally have, maybe homemade ice cream or something special like that goes. And you got all these guys, they're dressed in their overalls and their bow ties and stuff, and they go up before the altar, and the installing officer, he gives them the obligation, and the masters of ceremonies there, the marshals, they would demonstrate the grips and the words and the the steps and the do guards and all of that, just like a normal degree, but it probably wouldn't take no more than 20 minutes from start to finish to do that. And after that's over with, after they're obligated as an honorary hillbilly, into the Hillbilly Tuxedo Society, they would get a dues card. Well, not really a dues card, but a membership card. Since they don't have dues, it's a membership card, and an official lapel pin, and then whatever gifts the installing officer has that night. I actually happen to have a lapel pin here, and it kind of shows you the image of what pretty much they're all. Let's see if I can get that. Yeah, there we go. It's kind of with the bib overalls and the bow tie and all that. So every new recipient would get one of these. And like I said, there's no annual fees or dues or anything. It's all completely free, but they do take donations that night. And all of that money goes to replenish their supplies, buy more lapel pins and buy more stuff to keep it going. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell as far as the Hillbilly Degree goes. There's no set location. It can be anywhere within the state. We have an East Arkansas coordinator and a West Arkansas coordinator. Of course, Most Worshipful Robinson, the past Grand Master that developed it, he passed away in March of this past year, March 16th of 2021, and he was our West Arkansas coordinator. So they are in the process of finding a new coordinator for that side of the state. But our coordinator for the east side of the state, he is our Grand Junior Warden this year, Brother Daryl Gifford, and he's doing a bang-up job. So that's basically the whole premise of the Hillbilly Degree. It's just a real fun time for everybody to do it.
And how effective has the Hillbilly Degree been in addressing those problems that you talked about at the start, not just in Arkansas, but throughout Masonic jurisdictions in general?
Mm-hmm. Here in Arkansas, it's been really effective as far as gathering a bunch of Masons there and boosting participation, because once somebody, whoever is hosting this, with the Hillbilly thing, they may not have very many people show up. 7, 8 members at the most may show up, just a lot of officers. And when they host something like this, well, they get Masons from all over the area, the region, really from half the state will go to maybe the first time they've ever been there. And then after that, they have such a good time, they continue going after that. And we've seen, affiliation petitions to those lodges and different things happen. So it's been really a blessing for us as far as getting some of these smaller lodges with not as much participation, getting them boosted back up so they have more people showing up.
How much, when it comes to, trying something new and trying something different, whatever it may be, how important is it for Masonic jurisdictions, whether it be at the lodge level or at the Grand Lodge level or at the district level, to explore and try new things? It seems that oftentimes Freemasons, I'll speak for Ontario to a certain extent, but I think in any jurisdiction, can be very hesitant to try something new, either because they think it's not going to work, or they're just too busy in their own lives. And there may be a lot of great ideas that don't ever become implemented. So how important is it, do you think, for lodges to explore new ideas, try something new, and also make sure they work with other lodges and the Grand Lodge to get things done, as opposed to trying to having a good idea but not having the resources, so not pursuing it?
Right. Yeah, it's very important to try new things. Just like anything else, if you're not trying to evolve with the times, then you're going to be left behind. And that's with everything here in Arkansas. We've got a new database that is open to all of the lodge secretaries to get on the computer and try to keep the records that way, rather than pen and paper and mail it back and forth. And that's been one of our major struggles here recently in the past years, getting everybody up to speed on the database, getting that going. But yes, absolutely. You need to try something new, because just eating a meal and reading the minutes and going home, if the highlight of the evening is the meal, you're doing something wrong. I mean, because they're not going to show up unless you have something to do. So yes, we need to have something that's more innovative for the lodges to do. And a program like this, or any other program that would gather other lodges together to work together and boost our Masonic presence in the community, is really essential. Because if the community doesn't know you're there, they're not going to put in a petition to support you. Because you've got to be able to support the community, go out in the community, and have your presence known before they'll support you and get you more members. For the most part, we've a couple of weeks ago, we had a big group of tornadoes come through here in Arkansas, and it caused a major lot of damage on the eastern part of the state. I'm really proud of some of our lodges over in the Jonesboro area, because I believe we have 4 to 5 lodges in that county that have gone together now, and actually they're having a fundraiser for the tornado victims actually this Saturday. And those lodges have got together and they've organized their own charitable event for the tornado victims. And they've got a bunch of things that they're going to donate to silent auctions. And they're going to have, meals they're going to give away and different things like that. And that's really boosted a lot of, awareness to the Masonic fraternity in Eastern Arkansas, just trying new things like that. So it's very important to be innovative and try something new.
And so part of it is being innovative and trying something new. And then, something that the Hillbilly degree does, for example, is also the teamwork aspect of trying something new. I think oftentimes there may be a desire amongst a Freemason or Freemasons they'll have an idea, they want to try to implement something, but they're worried that they're not going to get the support either from their lodge or from the Grand Lodge or when I say support, they'll get an attaboy, or they'll get a, go out and try, but they're worried about actually getting volunteers to put the hours in to make it work. So how do lodges, especially with the Hillbilly degree, because this sounds like it's something where you did get buy-in from a lot of different lodges to work together on this. How do lodges go about forming those relationships and getting either an individual Mason or a lodge getting the support to proceed with an idea that's new or different or unique?
That's one good thing about our fraternity is that it pretty much has something for everybody. If some of our guys here in Arkansas, some of them, they really love the community outreach and working with the communities like I mentioned with Eastern Arkansas. Some people they're not for that, but they might like the charitable giving, and things of that nature. And some may like the actual business part of it, going to the business meeting and the structure that goes with that. And of course, a lot of them, they love the ritual program, doing the degrees and the different things of that nature. So yeah, our guys, they find their one thing that they like, and that's what they really focus on over here. They'll do the others to support each other as far as the lodge goes, but really what they have their one focus group, their thing that they like to do. And that's what they really focus on. And then they find other people that like other brethren that like the exact same thing. And that's where you get your ritual degree teams, your traveling degree teams from different lodges and different things like that goes. But as far as boosting the participants at the local lodge, that's been a struggle, here in Arkansas, just like everywhere else, trying to get enough people to actually show up to do something and participate. And we have seen issues with that before in the past, as far as, you may have just a few officers show up or just a few guys show up. So we're really no different in that aspect from everybody else as far as that goes. On some of our lodges, they are having that issue as far as participation goes. And that's where programs like this, the Hillbilly Tuxedo program, shows up, because we may get some people from a different lodge to come in and actually end up affiliating and helping that lodge, becoming a dual member with them, is what I'm trying to say, and boosting attendance that way and boosting membership.
Now, you brought something up that I wasn't aware of. I'd love to hear a little bit more about it and any support that can be provided. The tornadoes. I was aware that they, maybe just, I'm in Canada, so the news from the States I get is spotty. I primarily heard of the tornadoes hitting Kentucky. And actually, I posted a link to the Grand Lodge of Kentucky's website where they're collecting donations to help those impacted by the tornadoes. I wasn't aware that they had hit Arkansas. To your knowledge, was there any Masons any Masonic lodges or temples or Masons affected by the tornadoes in Arkansas? And is there any Grand Lodge programs or support that we could send their way?
Well, yeah, they were actually the exact same tornadoes that hit Kentucky. They just hit us first, and then they gained speed and steam as they hit Kentucky. But we were fortunate this time through that none of our lodges and none of our members, none of their homes were actually hit. So as far as a fraternity, we were fortunate in that. So we're basically in a support role right now, trying to support the communities, trying to build them back up as much as we can and offer them relief. We do also have a program here in Arkansas. It's the Arkansas Masonic Emergency Response Team. So they go out in situations like this in the community. They would, of course, they're all volunteers. They go through the same training that your volunteer fire departments and your different things. So they would be certified on chainsaw operations and tree removals and all of that. And they go in with the teams, the cleanup crews, and all of that. And they would actually give support to communities, and they would deliver the food with communities, with the Red Cross and the Southern Baptist associations and all of that. So. And when they go in, they've got their T-shirts with the square and compass on it and the AMERT on the back, and that boosts, attention to the Masonic fraternity as well. So we were fortunate that we're able to have that program in place as well here in Arkansas.
So moving ahead a couple of weeks, you guys have a busy time coming up with your annual communication. What's the planning been like for that? What's the organization been, and generally speaking, how do you find I'm not sure about the size of Arkansas. Ontario, we're bigger than Texas, and we're more we have a lot of very annoying, beautiful, but very challenging geography and geology and lakes and all sorts of stuff that gets in the way of travel. So it can be a challenge for, brothers from, say, Kenora, Ontario, which is probably the furthest jurisdiction, to get to Toronto for the Grand Lodge. What is it like? What's the Arkansas Grand Lodge like? Do you have brothers coming in from out of state? How much do you normally get? And what's the plan for 2022?
Yes, we're planning on having a full session again this year. Last year we did not. We had an abbreviated one-day session where we only had one delegate per lodge was able to show up in February of 21. This year we're going to plan on having a full session again, and what that consists of is on the first Wednesday of February, we will have our exemplification of our ritual work, our opening and closing, and all 3 degrees, and they will go over, the grand lecturer and his deputies will go through the adopted work, and that's all day Wednesday. And then the actual session start on the first Thursday in February. I believe that's the third this year, and that is when our actual session would open. And yes, we've invited out-of-state dignitaries. We have, I believe, we have 7 different states that have accepted the invitations to come. Even though we've got, the COVID variant is going around, we do have some out-of-state visitors coming. So we'll introduce those guys Thursday morning at our session, and then we'll go through our business session. And then we'll adjourn and have our banquet that Thursday evening. And then Friday morning is when we will do our election of officers and do the installation Friday afternoon. But it's a busy time for us right now. It's taken basically the entire month of January to get ready for 3 days. That's a yearly basis. But the geography of Arkansas, we're not that big as far as that goes. We have 11,600 Masons currently right now, this minute, in the state of Arkansas.
What's your
drive across from?
What's your total population in Arkansas?
I'd have to look that up. I don't know. I didn't look that up. But
No worries. I'm just thinking because there's about 33,000 last time I checked Freemasons in Ontario. I'm just curious to what that works out to as a percentage of the population. Because in Ontario, it's 33,000 out of, trying to think how many people are in Ontario. A couple million, I think. More than that. We're the biggest province. Anyways, yeah, I'm just curious. I'm always curious about, because everybody likes to point, use numbers. The question is always, though, numbers as a percentage of population. Just curious, but
in 2019 we had 3 million, 3.018 according to Google million people in Arkansas. So we're at 11,600 Masons. So whatever that figures up to be, I don't.
I can't do it. I never should have done this. I can't do math to save my life. This is not a good idea. People need to, if people know, put in the comments, because let's see. All right. Well, so we've got, according to Google, about 15 million in Ontario. So
quite a bit. Nice.
So yeah, so I mean, percentage-wise, Arkansas does have more Masons than Ontario. If you look at 11,000 out of 3 million versus 33,000 out of 15 million. So yeah, just so you guys must be doing something right, at least to have the number.
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate here. It's with the different programs that the Scottish Rite, the Southern jurisdiction picked up. They went in with the Imperial Shrine and developed the Be a Freemason website, and that has really helped out a lot as far as getting information to the members and the public who would want to be interested in Freemasonry. So that's helped us out a lot. Rather than them trying to go out and find somebody, where's my closest lodge, or find a Mason just happen on them. They can actually send an email now with their location, and then it'll come straight to me, and I can give them that information. Here's your lodge. Here's the address. This is when they meet. This is what time it is, and here's the lodge secretary's email address if you want to call him. And that's really helped us out a lot. So that's a good program.
Nice. The looking ahead, not to Grand Lodge and the communication. I know that's going to take up most of your January, I'm sure. And it's like Christmas, you spend months preparing for it, then it's over really quickly.
That's right. That's exactly right.
What types of where do you see Grand Lodge of Arkansas, placing the emphasis on in 2022 and beyond? What type of things, from the Grand Lodge perspective, is the most important to grow or sustain Freemasonry in the state of Arkansas?
The incoming Grand Master will have his own the programs that he wants to do, and that we'll pretty well find out when he gets here exactly his definitive plans of what he wants to do on that. But I believe that we're going to try to continue what we've done. We've started here. We've tried to increase our presence, especially on social media, with our Grand Lodge Facebook page and our different groups. It's different group levels there in Facebook, and also like getting on the website and posting all of our degree dates and all of our activities on our Grand Lodge calendar, making sure that everybody knows what we're doing, and more effective communication to all of our members, and being more accessible to everyone as far as that goes. That's going to be a major focus that we're going to continue with as much as we can, because we found the best that's best for us is when clear, open communication with everyone and being easily accessible has helped a lot as far as morale goes within our fraternity, especially here in Arkansas.
I'll ask you about it. I've been on a real kick lately. I talked about it in some of my last interviews. I'm curious for your perspective. Um, you know, should to what extent do you? I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. Or when we're looking at emphasizing things in Freemasonry, or when we're speaking to the community about Freemasonry, do you think where do you think the balance lies between emphasizing the fun, this is the fun and enjoyment and the brotherhood and the happy times of the craft versus emphasizing the relevance or even the struggle associated and the hard work associated with the craft? I mean, I liken it to, I've always likened Freemasonry to exercise. There are some masochists out there who probably love to exercise. I'm not one of them. I'd rather not do it if I had the choice, but I do it because I recognize it has value in my own life and my own health and well-being, and it's important to do. And in the same way, when I speak of Freemasonry now, I really try to emphasize more and more. It might not always be for a Freemason enjoyable, especially when there's Netflix at home or there's something that, you don't have to put on pants. You can just lie on the couch. It may be more enjoyable to stay home and watch Netflix, but in terms of something that will make, improve yourself and improve the world, Freemasonry is the more relevant and fulfilling activity. So where do you think that balance lies between emphasizing fun enjoyment versus challenge and hard work?
Right. Yeah, that's a tough one there as far as that goes. It's you want to be able to have that appeal to the public as far as, yes, we're a charitable organization and it's fun. You can come join us and it's great. But once you get in there, there's also the serious aspect to it. There are lessons that we teach. That it's reinforcing what all of these morals and different principles that well, basically, if your mama taught you when you was a young child, don't steal, don't be mean to people, don't do it. We're reinforcing that, and there's a reason why she taught you those things. And our grand lecturer has done a really great job of having an esoterica group on Facebook, and also he will have different schools and different meetings around the state as well, where he will go in and just really dive deep into our different degree work and our different rituals, and he will break that apart. Is why do we say it this way? There's a lesson that to be learned here, and this is why we say this, and this is what it means. And he can drag that completely right out of the scripture or whatever he's looking at the time, and show you exactly the relevance to that, and reinforce that teaching that you're supposed to be learning, those lessons that you learn in your lectures and your different things of Masonry. And he's done a very good job of that as far as reinforcing that goes. Yes, there has to be a balance. You have to know, yes, you're here to have fun, but also there is a serious side. When it's time to work, it's time to work. And so that's a difficult issue there. Some people, we've had a lot, and I've noticed this as well in our younger Masons that have came in. The younger generation that we found, they're interested in Masonry. They want to learn the history behind it, how it was formed, how we have came to be, and all of the lessons and the principles behind it. So they're really wanting to know, and that not only do they want to know what to say as far as our rituals go, but they want to know why you say it this way. Older generations, it seems as that when you're teaching a degree, when you're trying to teach like the entered apprentice degree, we'll take that. We have our adopted ritual, and it's worded a certain way. And the older generations, you would ask them the question, well, why is it that way? Why do we say it in this way, this sentence this way? And that answer would be, well, because that's the way it's adopted. That's the way we've always done it. That's the way it is. That's me. Hey, well, that's great. That's fine. Well, the younger generation, they want to know why, and why do we say this way like this? And they're really interested. And our grand lecturer can back that up, and he said, well, we say it this way because of this. This is what that means. And they've really embraced that as far as that goes. So you can see in the generations within our membership. And one of the good things about that is all of these older guys and these younger guys, they can all come together. They have a common belief, a common reason to be there, and that is to be a Mason. So I believe that there is a balance between that. Some of the younger guys, they're really there for the learning of the ritual, but they're also there to have fun too. If the meeting is going to be boring, that they've got to get something out of it. So you've got to have that fun stuff. You've got to have some activities. You've got to involve their wives. You've got to involve their children, and give the whole family reason to be there and support them. So yeah, you're absolutely right. That's an issue there.
Well, one of the fun things that is coming up is, in fact, the Hillbilly Degree. So I'll leave a link down in the description, but when is the next one? And from my understanding, right, it moves all throughout the state. So it'll find themselves in different parts of the state. So the next ones that are coming up, and if anybody wants more information, where do they get in touch?
Okay, they can contact us through our website, or they can email me directly. My email here at the office is gs@argrandlodge.com. Of course, they can look us up on Facebook with Grand Lodge of Arkansas, and we'll have the Grand Lodge image here. Yes, so you'll know you're at the right Facebook page. They can contact us through there. They can contact us through email. You can call us here at the office at 501-374-6408. Our grand librarian, he is the one that has taken over the calendar, and he updates that weekly. So as soon as we have a new one coming up, it'll be posted within a matter of hours, and the location and the times and everything. So we're easily accessible now.
That is great. And I thank you for taking the time to speak to me, and I wish you all the best of luck with the Grand Lodge and Communication. Where is it going to be located, and where can people find Masons if they want to visit or they want to take part? Where do they get tickets for the banquet and the event? And are there any capacity restrictions with COVID, or any restrictions in terms of attendance?
Okay. As of right now, we do not have restrictions going on. We did last year, but as of right now, the Grand Master has not issued any new restrictions on us, so we'll have a full session like we have had in the past. The session is going to be held here in Little Rock at the Albert Pike Masonic Temple, or Albert Pike Memorial Temple. It's the Scottish Rite here at 700 Scott Street in Little Rock. That is where our Grand Lodge is actually located, on the top floor of the Albert Pike Scottish Rite Memorial Temple here in Little Rock. That is where our session will be, in the main auditorium of the Scottish Rite. Our host hotel for the year, that's on our Facebook. Well, or no, I'm sorry, not our Facebook page, our website. I'm sorry. I got so many different going on here. The website, you scroll down to the bottom, the hotel is the Wyndham Riverfront Hotel in North Little Rock. They've given us a discounted rate. So they can get their information on their hotel stay there. And it's just right across the river from the temple. It's a 5-minute drive. As far as visitation goes, that's completely fine. All you got to do is just show us a dues card and you can get in. No problem as far as that goes. The capacity, I believe the auditorium can hold upwards to almost 800 people, and we have a balcony in the top that visitors can come and sit and watch the full session. No problem at all. They're more than welcome. We also are going to have, hopefully, we'll have some vendors here as well if they want to go shop around a little bit, and we're looking forward to a good time.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for taking the time to speak with me. And I've never had the chance to visit it yet, but I would love the chance to visit Freemasonry in Arkansas. So I don't have any overalls. I'm from Canada, you know. We don't have them up here like you guys do down there, but maybe I'll get a chance to visit anyways.
Well, however you want to show up, that'll be fine. You're more than welcome.